Some mysteries defy explanation, and one of the most notable is the theft and disappearance of a Boeing 727 aircraft. The vanishing of large aircraft is an exceedingly rare event, especially in an era characterized by advanced tracking technologies and comprehensive aviation oversight. However, in 2003, this lesser-known incident occurred when a former passenger airline was stolen from Quatro de Fevereiro Airport in Luanda, Angola. This is the intriguing story of the Boeing 727's disappearance off the face of the Earth. The aircraft in question was a Boeing 727-223, registered as N844AA, originally owned and operated by American Airlines. It played a vital role in connecting passengers across busy domestic and international routes between 1975 and 2000, before eventually being converted for freight transport. During its 26.5 years of service, the plane logged an impressive total of 68,488 flight hours and safely completed 43,390 flight cycles. At the time of its disappearance, the aircraft still displayed the faded livery of American Airlines, and despite its age, it had been maintained to impeccable standards. After its conversion for freight transport, the aircraft was acquired by Aerospace Sales and Leasing, a logistics company based in Miami. The company was reportedly in talks to transfer ownership to one of two potential buyers, an airline based in Nigeria or a cargo fleet operating in Angola, who wanted the aircraft to deliver diesel fuel to diamond mines in Angola, where a long civil war had made transporting goods by road almost impossible. The 727, therefore, was to have been delivered with fuel tanks installed in the cabin. The transfer process, along with uncertainties about the aircraft's operational status, led to the plane being grounded in Angola for over a year. During this prolonged period of inactivity, the aircraft accumulated significant financial liabilities due to parking and service fees, which were estimated to be around $4 million. The combination of extended grounding and rising debt raised serious concerns about the aircraft's viability and future in the aviation industry. Persistent rumours also suggested that the Boeing aircraft had been grounded due to its lack of a high-frequency radio, a crucial piece of communication equipment essential for long-distance flights over remote regions. The absence of such equipment raised alarms about the plane's operational capabilities and compliance with international aviation standards. In addition to these problems, an official from the Angolan Civil Aviation Authority noted that vital documentation validating the aircraft's legal conversion from a passenger model to a cargo plane was also missing. This lack of necessary paperwork heightened concerns about the aircraft's operational legitimacy and potential safety, and at the time of its disappearance, the aircraft was reportedly prohibited from flying in Angolan airspace. This ongoing situation not only deepened the mystery surrounding its theft, but also complicated efforts to determine who was ultimately responsible for its debts and future disposition, and this intricate backdrop of financial disputes, ownership claims, and legal uncertainties ultimately set the stage for one of the most enigmatic disappearances in modern aviation history, leaving investigators and aviation experts grappling with a myriad of unanswered questions as they delve deeper into the case. Shortly before its disappearance, the aircraft's legal owner, Aerospace Sales and Leasing, had been preparing the aircraft for a journey to Johannesburg, where it was to be sold to the highest bidder in a bid to mitigate its mounting financial losses. Ben C. Padilla, a skilled flight engineer and pilot, and John M. Mutantu, a qualified mechanic, had both been involved in refurbishing the plane as part of the preparations for its sale, which granted them authorized access to the plane. On May 25, 2003, the two men boarded the aircraft, but instead of working on the plane as expected, they stole it. As the sun neared the horizon, the aircraft unexpectedly began to taxi towards the runway, but did so without establishing crucial communication with the airport's control tower. Eyewitness accounts described the plane as exhibiting erratic movements during its approach, ultimately crossing onto the runway without prior clearance, a serious violation of established aviation protocols. In a further display of disregard for standard operating procedures, the aircraft's running lights were turned off, and its transponder, a vital device that transmits essential information such as the aircraft's identification, location, and altitude, was also disabled. The Boeing 727 took to the skies heading southwest before vanishing into the vastness of the South Atlantic Ocean. It's worth pointing out that passenger aircraft are complex machines that require extensive training and expertise for operation. In the case of the Boeing 727, it typically requires a flight crew consisting of a captain, first officer, and flight engineer to ensure safe and efficient operations. Neither Ben C. Padilla nor John M. Mutantu possessed the qualifications necessary to pilot such an aircraft, raising urgent questions about their intentions. In the aftermath of the audacious theft, eyewitness accounts revealed significant inconsistencies. Some claimed they saw Padilla boarding the aircraft alone, while others insisted that both men boarded together. It also remains uncertain whether there were other passengers or crew members already on the plane when they arrived. The uncertainty surrounding the actions of Padilla and Mutantu led to numerous theories. Some speculate that they may have been involved in a calculated theft, while others view them as victims caught in an unexpected and extraordinary situation when they entered the aircraft. Tragically, despite extensive search efforts, neither the aircraft nor its occupants have ever been found. Those connected to this perplexing incident, such as the aircraft's rightful owners, seasoned aviation experts, experienced pilots, and officials from the US government, generally believe that the aircraft likely met a tragic fate, most probably crashing into the ocean. This assessment is primarily based on the apparent lack of experience displayed by the pilots. However, an unsettling question continues to linger. Could there have been a more sinister motive behind the theft? That was something investigators tried to unravel. The disappearance of the Boeing 727 has sparked a multitude of theories and conjectures over the years. These interpretations range from plausible explanations rooted in the complexities of aviation and international crime to wildly imaginative and outlandish speculations. Each theory reflects the intrigue surrounding this enigmatic case, as investigators and aviation enthusiasts alike strive to uncover the truth behind the aircraft's mysterious vanishing act. One prominent theory suggests that it may have been stolen for covert cargo operations involving the transportation of illicit goods. Speculation is that the plane was repurposed to smuggle high-value items such as narcotics, weapons, or contraband across international borders. The failure to maintain communication and the absence of an official flight plan may have been deliberate tactics intended to evade detection by law enforcement and regulatory agencies, maximizing the chances of successfully carrying out such operations. Another compelling hypothesis proposes that the plane's disappearance was part of an elaborate scheme for insurance fraud. Experts speculate that the aircraft's theft could have been orchestrated to facilitate a significant insurance claim, particularly considering that the jet had been languishing idly at Quatro de Fevereiro Airport. Accumulating fees and becoming a financial burden for its owners, the plane's theft might have been an intentional ploy to relieve the owners of their obligations while profiting from insurance payouts. In the immediate aftermath of the plane's disappearance, the possibility of its use in a terrorist attack was a major subject of speculation. Given the traumatic events of September 11, 2001, which occurred less than 2 years before this incident, fears of the aircraft being repurposed as a weapon were heightened. However, as months turned into years, without any incidents tying the stolen aircraft to terrorist activities, this theory gradually lost credibility, leading investigators to consider alternative explanations. Another line of speculation revolves around the idea that the stolen Boeing 727 was taken for personal use, possibly customized for an elite or affluent individual, or was intended for sale on the lucrative black market for aircraft. Given the aircraft's age, its operational and maintenance costs could deter potential buyers, suggesting that whoever orchestrated the theft was taking a significant financial gamble. Nevertheless, the persistent global demand for aircraft components, as well as entire planes for unauthorized operations, provides credence to this theory, showcasing the unscrupulous nature of certain segments of the aviation industry. Among the more eccentric theories circulating are claims that the aircraft was commandeered by a government agency or a clandestine organization for undisclosed, possibly nefarious activities. Some even assert that it encountered extraordinary phenomena during its flight, such as alien interference, which contributed to its baffling disappearance. These theories, while lacking substantial evidence, highlight the human penchant for intrigue and the mysterious, particularly in events as enigmatic as this. The most widely accepted explanation attributes the 727's disappearance to a crash in a remote, possibly uncharted, maritime area. Given the vast, largely unmonitored expanses of ocean and land where wreckage could become lost, it remains entirely plausible that the debris from the aircraft could still be undiscovered. This possibility is bolstered by the fact that search efforts were severely hampered by the aircraft's disabled transponder, which meant there was no reliable data regarding its last known position, nor were there adequate resources for an optimal search operation. Despite the multitude of theories and conjectures, the fate of N844AA remains shrouded in mystery, with each theory raising more questions than answers. The lack of tangible evidence has only fueled speculation, turning the aircraft's disappearance into one of the most captivating and enduring aviation mysteries of our era. Reports indicate that the theft of the Angola plane activated an extensive search operation that involved multiple federal entities, including the FBI, CIA, and the Department of Homeland Security. However, the specifics of these investigative efforts remain somewhat vague. Approximately 6 weeks after the disappearance, a rumoured sighting in Conakry, the capital of Guinea, surfaced. However, this claim was swiftly dismissed by the US State Department as unsubstantiated, adding another layer of intrigue to an already perplexing situation. More than 20 years after the incident, it remains unsolved. Despite numerous investigations and the passage of time, the fate of the stolen 727 and the individuals reportedly on board has become an elusive mystery. This case continues to baffle experts and captivate aviation enthusiasts alike.